Hey there, pizza pals. It's Melvin, the only pizza slice brave enough to ask questions that might cause arguments, group chat chaos, and mild travel panic. Today's episode is Would You Rather Travel Edition. Airports, cruises, resorts, Disney, all-inclusives. No loopholes, no it depends. You have to choose. Grab a plate. Let's get uncomfortable.
Thanks, Melvin. Welcome back to One Slice at a Time. I'm Stephanie, travel advisor, co-host, and here to make sure Ryan actually commits to an answer.
And I'm Ryan, travel advisor, pizza loyalist, the other co-host, and stressed because I know these questions are traps. I know they are.
This episode is all would you rather questions, but we're broken into travel themes. And just so everyone knows, every single one of these are real decisions we help clients make all the time and make for ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, and they sound simple, but they're really not. A lot of thought goes into a lot of these decisions.
Exactly. And you'll learn a lot about how we think, probably more than we planned.
Perhaps so, yeah.
All right, Ryan, let's talk about the worst part of travel first. Airports. Now, rule for
Yeah,
this
no
round.
kidding. It's the worst.
Answer quickly, and then you get a little time for an explanation.
Okay. Yes. All right. So the first one, would you rather take the cheaper flight with a risky connection or pay more for a nonstop that protects day one of the trip?
Nonstop every time, because I live in an area that has a not so great airport, and I will pay extra for the nonstop because we don't have a lot of nonstops. In all honesty, it has a littler airport. So nonstop, get there as quickly as I can. Don't have to risk changing planes, changing connections, running across the airport, or waste an entire day traveling when all I want to do is get there.
For me, nonstop is the answer. However, I will say that this is a little bit of a do as I say, not as I do, because I am a Delta loyalist. Now, as a result of that, I usually fly Delta exclusively if I can.
I'm A-list on Southwest.
So just what that means is that I'm typically going to fly to Atlanta first, no matter what I do. But what I do is I make sure that I have a long connection. Like if I see a 50-minute connection in Atlanta, I know that's not long enough.
Right, because Atlanta's horrible.
Because if your flight is 20 minutes late taking off and it sits at the tarmac for 10 minutes, you probably missed your flight.
Yes.
So, there's some experience that goes into this. But when I am advising other people of what to do, I usually start with the direct flight. The other caveat I will say is that I don't recommend flights where I think that an issue will cause people to miss their vacation.
Right.
So short connections, one flight a day, those types of things. I try to make sure that, when I'm recommending a flight, that there's a plan B.
Right.
And that the airline is, one of the national brands that's going to, take care of the people or rebook them automatically, things like that.
Yep, for sure.
So quick answer, but a long explanation.
That's okay. Question number 2. Would you rather arrive early and you have to get an extra hotel night, or arrive a little bit later and you kind of start the trip exhausted? So are you one of those arrive the day you plan to do everything, or arrive the day before and spend the extra money on an extra night of hotels?
That both ways, and I can tell you that arriving the day of is not fun. It is, especially if you're doing a long overnight jet lag type of situation. If you have to arrive the same day that you're supposed to do something, or the morning you're supposed to, if you land in the morning and you got a whole jam-packed day, that day might actually be horrible.
Miserable day.
You plan the best things possible and it just ends up being miserable because you're so tired. So I always do the arrive early.
I like the arrive early with one caveat. When I am going to Disney, I am getting on the first flight of the day. I am getting down there, and the rest of my day is absolutely jam-packed with activities. But like you said, Ryan, this isn't like an overnight flight where I'm jet lagged. This is only a few hours away. So it's completely different. If you guys are flying somewhere that's overnight, arrive the day before. If you're flying in for a cruise, don't risk your cruise on airport problems. Go ahead and arrive the night before.
Yeah, and even what you just mentioned with the Disney thing is typically when we're planning vacations for people that are doing Disney, we usually always have a resort day baked in.
Yes.
So if your travel got messed up on day one and you were planning to go to the parks, you do have that kind of resort day that
Buffer.
you can use as your back.
Yep. Okay.
All right, sticking with airports, I need to know, Stephanie, are you like the cheapest seat possible, basic economy, whatever it's going to be? They're going to put you on, tie you down on the top of the plane, but you're going to get there for cheap? Or are you like, I want, economy plus, I want a little extra leg room, I want window, aisle, I will never sit in the middle? Are you only going to fly first class? Where do you stand?
I'm right down the middle on this one, depending on how long the flight is. There are some things I can endure for a short flight, but overall, no. I need to be like, I don't have much of a choice here. Southwest is pretty much the only place that flies anywhere out of the nearest airport. So it is kind of bargain economy because just the nature of that airline. But I will tell you that I'm always paying for early check-in if it's not included. I'm, always paying for a little bit bigger seat as often as I possibly can. Want to be comfortable.
Well, even with Southwest now, they assign seats.
Right.
But I'm sure they have a fare where they don't. And for me, I don't even look at that fare where they don't assign seats.
Right.
Sometimes I have people.
Not even on the
sometimes I
menu,
have people
guys.
that say,
That's like pineapple on the pizza. It's not even on the menu.
I don't offer it. I don't even tell people that it exists. Sometimes people will come back to me and say, well, can't we go a little cheaper than that? And I'm like, yeah, but you potentially aren't going to sit together. And you might both get middle seats.
Right.
And, and sometimes they're okay with that. And that's fine. That's a decision that they've made. But for me, if I'm going to book it for myself, I am always an aisle to start. That's
window.
That's like table stakes.
Unless I'm with Eva. I don't get the window when I'm with Eva.
If I open up my Delta app and I see that I have a middle seat, it's because they rebooked me and I am on the phone with them and it's an issue. Put me on another flight.
That's right.
With my status and stuff, they usually upgrade me to the Comfort Plus, which is their Economy Plus. I don't necessarily have to book that. Long flights, I do want it though.
Right, for sure. All right, guys, let's get into our second segment. We're going to talk about some cruise decisions that are actually going to matter to you. So guys, pay attention to these. These can be some big ones for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So Stephanie, first one up. Do you choose the itinerary first and accept whatever ship they give you? Or do you choose your ship first and accept the itinerary?
This one's actually a lot tougher than some people think because sometimes you're going on a cruise for the ship.
Quick answer, explanation.
Oh, darn. Quick answer. I'm more of an itinerary person.
Okay.
So
I'll give you your explanation.
Okay. I broke the rules, guys. I am more interested in where the ship is going. But at the same time, sometimes the ship is the destination, especially when you're on a short cruise that goes to like Cozumel. Like, who cares about going to Cozumel again, right? So in that instance, the ship is going to be your destination. But for me, I look at, where is the cruise going? Are these places that I've been 100 times? Is this a new cruise itinerary for me? And that's the way I'm going to choose the trip, not by ship.
I need to make a combination of cruise line itinerary, not necessarily cruise ship, but cruise line and itinerary first. And then usually it's, whatever ship you're using. But yeah, if the objective is to do a Mediterranean cruise, I have 2 or 3 lines that I'm going to be looking for. I don't care what ship in their fleet it is. That's what I'm going for. So I guess that means cruise line first. But obviously, if the idea is a specific itinerary, that's going to narrow you down.
Right.
I think there's an exception for like Disney. A lot of people are collectors of the Disney
Right.
ships. So they're like, wherever the Destiny is sailing on this time that I have off is where
Where
I'm
I'm
going to
going.
go.
Hmm.
And frankly, a lot of these smaller, shorter sailings, they're going all the same places anyway.
Right.
So you can afford to say, I want to go on the newest ship or whatever.
Exactly.
And Royal Caribbean's the same way. A lot of people are like, okay, the new ship came out. I got to get on it. So
Correct.
where's it going to go? Doesn't matter. But generally speaking, like if your itinerary is Caribbean cruise, well, okay, you have
Right.
a billion options. So then you're probably picking based on ship or at least cruise line.
Right. So you mentioned Mediterranean cruises, and I know that they do have some overnights there. So would you rather do overnight options but have fewer ports, or visit more ports during your cruise itineraries?
For me, overnight, fewer ports. I would take that over more ports, shorter stays, because I just like the idea of getting off the ship and
Mhm.
not having to worry about when I'm getting back on.
Right.
I have a little bit more flexibility. So I know if that ship's staying there overnight, doesn't matter. Like I can do an excursion and then I can hang out. I can get lost and get a cab or whatever. So overnight, fewer ports. By you.
I'm the more ports person.
What?
I want to go someplace and like see as much as possible. And we travel differently
You're trying
because
to
I have
put your flag down.
no, I have children. So staying
Sure.
overnight and like going out, I know it's a completely different vibe in these cities in the evening than it is during the day. But I can guarantee you that does not matter to my 9-year-old. So if it's
Fair.
only cruise, it may make a little bit more of a difference for me. But for her, she wants to go, go, go. As our family, we go, go, go. So it's more about seeing more places.
Sure. Okay, then what about the smaller ship with fewer things to do versus the larger ship that has tons of options?
On the retrospect here, I do love a smaller ship. Big
It kind of
ships.
conflicts with what you just
I
said.
know, but I do love the smaller ship. And I'm not talking like tiny, like just a smaller mass market cruise line
Yeah.
ship, that type of thing. Easier to get around. There may be less options of things to do, but that also forces us to relax a little bit and not be running or feel like we haven't seen everything on the ship. Our family, we like the smaller ships a little bit better.
I prefer smaller ship always. Now, that can mean a lot of things depending on the sentence that I'm speaking. You know, like I would prefer to be on a ship that has 200 passengers versus
Right.
7,000. But given the choice, I'd also pick Celebrity over Royal Caribbean
Mm-hmm.
because Celebrity ships are going to be 3,000 passengers versus 7,000
Right.
passengers. So I take smaller ship there too. I also am a huge fan of the Disney Magic versus the Disney Treasure and the Disney Wish
We love
because
the
Disney
fantasy.
Magic is so much smaller.
Yeah. Yep.
Not to say I don't like those big ships in any of the cases, whether it's Royal or whatever. I like them, but if I'm going to choose, I might choose the smaller.
Okay, so let's switch gears just a little bit. Let's talk about hotels and resorts. So I think hotel decisions can tell you a whole lot about people's travel style. So Ryan, would you rather pay more for a better location or save a little bit of money and maybe have to have a longer commute back and forth to all of the attractions you want to go to?
You know, I'm paid more for location, I think, every time because,
Yes.
you know, it depends on what we're talking about. Are we talking about staying 20 minutes outside of a city that you're going to spend every day in that city?
It's ridiculous.
Spend a little bit more to stay in the city
Mhm.
and ditch the rental car or whatever. Or are we talking about like staying at you're on a big resort campus like Disney World and you know, we're talking about the convenience of the Grand Floridian versus the cost effectiveness of Coronado Springs.
Right.
You know, depends on the vacation there.
Right.
But I still would prefer Grand Floridian, trust me. But you know, there might be an economy decision that I make there. So
Sure. But we're also choosing the Grand Floridian not purely based on location.
That's
so
right. But I do have people that choose Contemporary because they can walk to Disney, and that is
Right.
a location-based decision.
that I get is
They can walk to Magic Kingdom. Yeah.
for me, I'm always
All
going
right,
to pay
well-
more for a location. It's always going to be
You are,
location.
okay.
Yeah. Because it's
Okay.
just logistics, really, guys. When you travel with kids, you want sometimes the easiest possible option. So, having to commute every day into a city with children, an Uber with a car seat, and all of these things, right? So if you pay a little bit more, but it makes your vacation easier, it makes it more seamless, it's money well spent.
Sometimes pick based on whether or not they have free parking too, you know? So there are
Yeah.
different aspects to this. Would you rather book a beautiful room that has weak service or an average room with excellent service?
I refuse to answer this question.
I will.
You go right ahead. If this gorgeous suite I'm in doesn't have great service, then I'd pick the entire wrong hotel.
9 times out of 10, the beautiful room is going to come with the
Yeah.
excellent service. However, I will say that there has been a trend in hotels and resorts where you're not getting the service that we were accustomed to even 10 years ago,
Right.
I don't think, or maybe it's 20 now. But, I want turn down service every day. Like,
Yes.
I want them to come in, clean out the garbage, give me fresh
Mhm.
towels and all that stuff. I want excellent service. I would probably, it's a strict, beautiful room situation, I would probably sacrifice some of the beauty of the room to have excellent service.
hmm
Like I said, though, most of the time now, if you want excellent service, you're going to be in a beautiful.
Right. And that's why I refuse to answer this question.
But I will
Oh.
definitely pay more if I know that I'm getting those things that I just mentioned. The
Right.
fresh towels, I mean, we're not talking about like that crazy of thing.
Right.
So, yeah,
Not I have to ask you for fresh towels and you just assume that I don't want
right.
them. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So
Okay.
question, would you rather have like the one perfect relaxed resort day, or you've got 3 days, but you're kind of rushed trying to do everything?
So it's a style vacation question.
Yes.
I think, versus are you going to take relax for a day or rush for 3 days? I think I'd rather be relaxed for a day.
I think so too. Like I go on vacation to relax. And while it's about, seeing things and having an adventure and learning more about the destinations we visit, overall, if you gave me a choice, definitely, I'm just going to relax on the beach, snorkel.
I think when we're planning vacations, we try to do somewheres in the middle,
Right.
right? Where you
Yeah.
do like all the cool things, but we make sure that there's like some downtime in there
hmm
just so that you can explore things on your own. I think when we're trying to plan vacations for people, that we try to do a combination of the two.
Right.
And it's like, yes, we try to make sure that you do all the things that you must do, but then we
Right.
also leave some time in for some of your own self-exploration of the place that you're in.
Exactly.
So we try to do a mix. That's why we usually always have a resort day and a Disney vacation.
hmm
Or if we're like in Europe, we plan something in the morning and give you the afternoon, or give you the morning and plan something in the afternoon, something like that, so that
Mhm.
you have time to discover that cool coffee shop on the corner
Right.
or stumble into that bar where your vacation really becomes your own.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, speaking of Disney, let's just do a quick short Disney section. So, a little
Okay.
quick would you rather? Would you rather have a shorter
Okay.
trip and everything's kind of like it's planned solidly, but in a good way, right? For a trip,
Mhm.
but everything flows really beautifully and you get everything done, but you have total flexibility in your like you have so much time you can do everything and you don't have to be on a certain schedule.
I like longer trip myself. You have more opportunity to do things and you have flexibility. That's my preference.
I like the longer trip for certain types of clients, especially if it's your first time at Disney, because your first time at Disney is super overwhelming. So my first time Disney clients, I say build a couple of days in there and just, have the flexibility that you don't feel like you're missing out on things if your schedule's not packed. For me, myself, now that I go to Disney regularly, we go on shorter trips and we do like, these are the boxes we're checking. And so, not a whole lot of flexibility, but we've had those trips before and we know what we want to go down there and do. And so we do a shorter trip. It's more compact, more packed, but that's just the way we like to travel. Ride,
So on
ride, to ride.
those short trips, are you buying the Premier Pass or doing the VIP tour or something like that? So that's the solid planning. Or is it, you're like,
It's
you
me and
7
the
days
Disney
ahead, you
Experience
got that
app,
multi-pass?
multi-passing it.
Okay.
Yeah, for the most
Okay.
part.
Yeah. All right. But there are ways to kind of do both, right? So
Right.
you can do a short trip with maximum flexibility if you buy the Premier Pass, because that
Right.
means you can just walk up to a ride and get on it. Or you do the VIP tour, which means you have somebody holding your hand around it.
Speaking of
Yeah,
which,
there's ways to do it. Future episode.
future episode.
All right. Would you rather optimize for rides or optimize for mood and energy at Disney?
Okay. We're talking about Eva here and only Eva. You guys know your children and you know your family. It kind of has to be a good mix of both, but her mood and her energy is directly based on how many rides she can get done in a day.
Yeah.
You have to
fair.
feed her food while she's in line because she is there to ride the rides. And so we optimize all of our planning about rides, how many rides she can do, or her favorite ones.
And for us, for Maggie and me, when we're going, it's just the two of us. We're optimizing for mood and energy
You guys
because
are living the dream.
we just don't, like every one of the rides we've done 1,000 times.
Mhm.
So, if we get on it, cool. If not,
Right.
no sweat. We just want to make sure that we go and have a good time. So we set up, the dining reservation that we want.
Mhm.
But, if we don't feel like we need to be into the park till 11, we don't go into the park. That's the annual pass mentality too, I think. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Last Disney one. Do you want to stay at a resort that has monorail access or a resort that has Skyliner access?
This one's kind of tough.
It is.
We love the Skyliner. We really, really do. But I'm staying on the monorail loop. I can take a break from Hollywood Studios or Epcot and ride the Skyliner around, staying on the monorail. How about you, Ryan?
Part of me wants to say Skyliner, but evidence shows that I've stayed on the monorail
Right.
a lot more. So I think my answer is monorail, but I do love this idea, especially for adults going on vacation, to stay on the Skyliner,
Mhm.
specifically in the Boardwalk Yacht Club Beach Club,
Right.
because then you can walk into the back of Epcot. And if you got a
Yes.
park hopper, you can go into Epcot every night for dinner or
Mhm.
whatever.
Yes.
So I've actually planned a lot of adults only vacations where they stay at one of those three resorts
Mhm.
because of that reason.
Absolutely. I can't wait. Hopefully,
I'm Skyliner aspirational.
that's what it is. We're Skyliner
Yeah.
wannabes, but
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they kind of expand the Skyliner. I would like to see that expand and bring in more hotels because that way we get away from the dreaded bus transportation.
Reminder, Stephanie and Ryan are travel agents, real ones. If this episode is revealing that you and your travel partner make very different choices, email bookings at oneslicepod.com and they'll help referee. Now, it's time for my favorite part of the show, the Crusty Review.
Okay, it's Crusty review time. So I think that it is only appropriate that we do a Would You Rather in the Crusty review.
Sounds fun.
So yeah. Would you rather, Stephanie, the Boardwalk Pizza Window or the Pizzafari?
Okay, Boardwalk Pizza Window.
Okay, that was a layup.
It was a total layup. Pizzafari, like
Yeah.
unless Ryan kept bringing it up, I would forget that it existed.
Would
I was
you
kind of concerned
rather-
what he was going to say.
Would you rather one of the chain pizza places at night,
Mhm.
like Papa John's, Domino's, Pizza Hut, because they're open late, or would you rather have the local shop's pizza that you ordered at noon left over?
Leftover pizza.
Perfect.
I would try something local,
All right, you got.
try something
Yeah.
new, and then have it left over if we need to.
All right, that's a short, crusty review, but let's get into all inclusives.
Yeah, these questions come up constantly when we're planning all-inclusive trips for our clients. So, Ryan, first one. Would you rather know exactly what you'll spend or have a little bit of flexibility, but you don't know exactly final trip cost, like your add-ons, like excursions and stuff? Because all-inclusive, guys, you're going to know exactly before you get there. But what about having some flexibility with your day planning?
mean, if I'm planning to go on an all-inclusive vacation,
Hmm.
then I want to know, I basically don't want to have my wallet,
Gotcha.
period.
Right.
If
Brian
it's a
loves
different kind of,
sandals because everything is.
right. Um, but if the idea though is it's a land travel experience and I'm
Mhm.
going to Europe or something, all-inclusive is not even in the picture. So it's a matter of, I kind of want to know what I'm going to spend, but there has to be room for me
Right.
to see something awesome and go do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I feel about the same
What
way.
about
I
you?
want my all inclusive to be all inclusive, but at the same time, I don't mind having a little bit of flexibility on we get there and we decide that we want to spend an extra day snorkeling and we need to pay a little bit extra for that experience. Or we want to go off the resort and try this restaurant that everybody's raving about. So I think that it's a good mix, but I like to be a little flexible.
Okay. All right. Well, would you rather have resort consistency or local immersion that takes more effort?
I usually am going to these types of locations and these resorts to relax. And while there might be a little bit of exploration off the resort, depending on the destination, I would rather be on the vacation where I stay on property at the resort and have a nice, relaxing vacation.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a resort stay anywhere, that
Mhm.
resort better be nice. If it's a local immersion trip, then I would still like a nice hotel,
Right.
but I don't actually want to stay on a resort in that
Yeah.
situation. If I want to be visiting a city or something like that, or traipsing through Europe, I want a more convenient hotel rather than a resort campus.
Completely agree. So, in that respect, kind of off the all inclusives, but do you want a trip with total built in support? Everything's handled for you? Or do you want complete independence? Would you rather go to an all inclusive or would you rather go on a like cultural immersion type trip where it's choose your own adventure?
In all cases, the answer is I would like built-in support. And here's what I mean is like it doesn't necessarily have to be an all-inclusive resort that I'm going to, but if I'm going on an African safari, I
Right.
don't want to be driving through the areas where an elephant might trample over the
Come on,
car.
live a little.
I want to know that I have the right person there with me.
Right.
And it's the same thing if you're going to
A
more
new to
exotic
you. Exact.
destination.
Yeah.
Right. Like when I'm going on the Mekong River to go through Vietnam and Cambodia, I can't think of a better way to do that than to go on the waterways and, you're guided the whole
Mhm.
time, but you still have some independence there.
Listen, guys, I am a super busy mom. I do everything for everybody, and I want total built in support when I'm on vacation, no matter what kind of vacation it is. I want somebody to unpack my clothes and pack my clothes. I want somebody to drive me everywhere. I do not want to have to think about a thing.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, there's our answer. All right. Let's get into our lightning round then.
Okay.
No explanations. None.
Oh,
Just
goodness.
answers.
All right.
Okay. Nonstop or better schedule?
Nonstop.
You already said nonstop.
That's actually hard, though. What
Yeah.
if nonstop's like get you in at 10 p.m. and it's the only one?
No explanation. Just answers. Nonstop.
Fewer
Next one.
hotels or more variety?
Fewer hotels.
More variety.
Okay. Well, we may have to add in debate. Guided first, solo later, or solo first, guided later?
Solo first and then guided.
For me, it's the opposite. Guided first and then solo. Guide gets me oriented, then I can go do my own stuff.
Gotcha. Buffer days or maximize every night of your vacation?
Buffer days.
Buffer days.
Plan for the worst case or the best case?
Worst case.
Always plan for the worst. It keeps me safe.
At least I feel safe, right?
Yeah, exactly. If everything goes great, it's a bonus.
All right. So that was our Would You Rather Travel edition.
Mostly no wrong answers, but I think Stephanie was flirting with a few wrong answers in there, some places.
No.
Different different priorities.
Yeah, that's right. Just different priorities. That's exactly how we plan our trips, though, is we take into account your priorities and then help you plan a trip around that.
That's right. That's right. Now, next week, we are going to be sailing on the brand new Disney Destiny. Actually, we're not going to be sailing. I already did that. We're going to be talking about
Shh, they
the
don't need
Disney
to know.
Destiny.
I
All right.
cannot wait. Speaking of a fresh slice, Ryan, what's for dinner tonight?
Leftover local pizza as opposed to
Pizza Hut?
midnight Domino's.
Sometimes Midnight Domino's is the only answer, though.
And sometimes stuffed crust Pizza Hut's not bad either.
That's right. Have a great day, guys. Bye.
That's a wrap on today's Slice, friends. Big thanks for hanging out with Stephanie, Ryan, and me, Melvin, as we played a little game of Would You Rather Travel Edition. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a slice. And if you're ready for some stress-free trip planning magic, reach out to Stephanie and Ryan. They've got you covered like extra cheese. Before you go, make sure to check the show notes for all the links. And if you enjoyed today's episode, leave us a review. It helps more Pizza Pals find the show. Until next time, stay saucy, stay cheesy, and keep traveling the world one slice at a time.